We start with dopey deaded Prince Jace getting the Spider-Man 2 corpse carrying treatment, as a poor sod who was told to lock his own queen in her bedroom whilst her son went off to his obvious death wonders whether he should just fling himself into the dragon's fiery gob right now, to be honest, cause this fella's more cooked than Supergirl's box office numbers.
Oh good lord!
Rhaenyra has a little cry over yet another son's death, and is in such a pathetic state that she can't even be bothered to take off the head of the aforementioned poor sod who was told to lock his own queen in her bedroom whilst her son went off to his obvious death.
Lame.
Bloody good bit of acting though, to be fair.
Are your lives too not forfeit? Have you not betrayed your queen?
Okay, we get it.
Anyway, the architect of all their misery, aka the bug-eyed black class, what loves having a giant black beast between her legs but not in the fun way, begs for asylum at the local women's refuge, given the queen is likely out looking for whatever wrong'un was riding on the back of that giant fuck-off hell beast what finished off her last remaining Sir Harwini bastard boy last epi. No way, says the madam. Don't want you team-killing types around here, bringing inevitable damnation and the stench of wet monster to my doorstep. So stop banging on about how you found a rare dragon-type Pokemon in the wild and now want some sort of badge for taming it, despite it killing your own stepbrother cousin and dooming you to being beheaded by your stepmummy queen, and shut up about it already. Meanwhile, Damon gets news that his mop-headed grandnephew turned stepson through incestuous marriage has totally been penetrated to death by a dozen shafts in the neck. Kyah, what an amateur! Because I hear Bonnie Blue calls that a standard Tuesday evening for frig's sake. Scottish Witchy Poo begs Damon to give her ownership of Harrenhal Castle, well given she's grown up there and no other fucker seems to give a stuff about it. But he just shrugs and says I ain't giving my kind of sort of holiday home to some 4 out of 10 spinster hag who wants to turn it into some Airbnb mystic yoga retreat bullshit. So shut up about it already, bitch.
You have neither name, nor title, nor noble husband. The crown is not in the habit of giving out castles to midwives.
Sir Adam does some flying about on his new dragon, Sea-Smoke. You know, the one what used to be owned by a gay black bloke and then harassed some other innocent black bloke on a beach till he finally gave in and mounted him. And huzzah! Finally finds a washed up chocolate fella with silver hair. And no, not that washed up chocolate fella with silver hair. Naturally, poor Lord Corlys just can't believe he didn't even get to die gracefully in battle after losing his wife, ship, daughter who gives birth out a butthole, and a homosexual son what loves faking his own death just to get away from him, and now just has to watch as his second home of high tide totally goes up in smoke too.
If this be victory, I hope I never see another.
No, he's got a point.
And hilariously just tells his baldy bastard son that his inheritance just got spaffed up the wall by some transsexual YouTuber.
Alan, I have nothing to give you now, but my name.
Oh great, so now I'm just the heir of Skidmark. Fan-dabby-dozy.
Fuck my life.
Meanwhile, Laris and the Eggy Prince are set upon by the stragglers who survived the Battle of the Gullet last epi, and so just bonk a poor sod on the noggin and run off over to Rook's Rest, whilst Alicent goes to see if she can get the commander of the Golden Cloak on side by informing him of her counter coup she's setting up to reverse her own initial coup, what ended up getting everyone killed just because she once misheard her senile hubby what died of scabs in his death throes, and which ended up causing total carnage throughout the kingdom.
Women.
Damon smacks up a useless Ulf and Hugh for cucking out of their one job last epi after they saw a literal horny freak in the woods and kept getting interrupted mid-shite by local wildlife. Probably tells his niecey wife to pull herself together and totally stop all the waterworks right fuckity now. Cause that one-eyed psycho Cyclops fella has totally gone and left King's Landing. And this is their chance to finally go and sit on that death trap chair thing, what tickles the testes in all the wrong places and must surely give you a bleeding high chance of tetanus.
Fact check.
That's true.
Alicent survives a half-assed rape before trying to get the heck out of Dodge with daughter Rhaenyra and her last surviving grandson, whilst Aemon swoops in on his giant fuck-off hellbeast Vhagar and stabs up a poor portly pensioner just innocently having his quiet supper over at Harrenhal.
Was that really necessary?
Luckily, one of the chefs slips his steel sausage between his cheeks and thus just makes him squirm over to that Scottish witch hag for a little bit of that sweet healing magic, yo. The Targaryens arrive back at King's Landing after pissing around for an entire season to finally tear some shit up and go get some sweet revenge on all those who turfed them out of their own house and put an eggy usurper prince on the throne who spends all day wanking into the sky for shits and giggles. Naturally, a hardcore Daemon eats every poor fucker he comes across, as the commander of the Golden Cloak finally turns up to save the pair of now trapped Targaryen divs, who'd apparently rocked up to their enemy's turf with zero army or backup and basically just hoped for the best.
What? The back door was always an option.
Not being able to find Prince Eggboy anywhere in the castle, and not even up on his favourite wanking perch,
Bruh.
they go and get the next best thing. A prize previously left by Sir Larys the Cripple, who's been keeping some sort of gimpy prisoner under everyone's noses the whole time. And in a shocking twist, what no one could ever see coming. Well, unless you didn't blink during the closing shots of the Season 2 finale, I guess. Turns out the other main architect of all their troubles has been held prisoner below them for an entire season, all along.
No way!
Yes, bloody way. And before you can say, "Oh hi Otto, I was wondering where you..." Okay, bye Otto. Poor Alicent is captured and reunited with her long lost daddy, who seems to have lost his head a bit and in more ways than one. As did that naughty grapist from earlier. So, swings and roundabouts, hey Alice. And we end with a careless Rhaenyra treading through puddles of blood up to the throne and making a right bleeding mess of the place, no pun intended, before staring down her arch nemesis and once best friend turned stepmummy foe. And that's it, that's episode 2. Favourite bit? Well, aside from Emmy Darcy's brilliant acting and little Rhaena trying to play Billy Big Bollocks,
the Queen is your authority now.
I will not have any beast harmed.
Ooh, you're hard, showing off.
I suppose was a dope-ass shot of Rhaenyra ascending the throne within the reflection of Otto's blood, which of course was... Alas. Let's press F to pay respects to the one and only Sir Simon Strong. Chubster died as he lived, interrupted at his meals by unanticipated and antisocial silver-scapped Targaryen guests. Anyway, on to episode 3. We start with Daemon demanding Sir Ormond Hightower totally cuck out and sod off home already, well given his uncle's lost his head and his cousin Alicent sold them all out for shits and giggles. So bro just takes a knee like it's 2020 all over again and a black man just died after swallowing his own fentanyl stash, and quickly yields to the bloke staring him down in front of 3 giant fuck-off dragons.
I totally get it.
What?
Said bloke also demands he hand over Alicent's son Daeron Targaryen, given he's technically an heir to the ex-Eggy King, and thus a total threat to the new boss bitch blonde queen. Cue opening titles. Said boss bitch blonde queen demands her new half-brother kiddie prisoner give him the skinny on whatever he knows about the rest of the outstanding usurper freaks. You know, the one-eyed psycho prick what loves poking pensioners, and also his older bro who totally got roasted but not in a fun way. Well, little man wisely keeps his gob shut and promptly gets sent to his room, before Rhaenyra is told that her vault's been cleared out and all her treasured treasure's missing. Fuck's sake. See, the orange man with the silly hair was right. This is what happens when you don't do regular audits of your gold supplies. And to make matters worse, the only one who might have known what happened to it all was indeed that gropey grapist fella what tried to pinch the crown jewels last epi, but not in a good way. Now the realm is more broke than the British state in current day, she demands Daemon sod off and start shaking down locals for extra taxes, as well as any knowledge about who's raided her bloody cash stash. Because given the amount of rats running about the place, and giving the poor queen a little fright, they need some sweet coin to buy a whole horde of pussy.
Matron.
And I mean from the local cattery and not the local brothel, obvs. Especially since the dopey Aegon fella went and hung all the grubby rat catchers last season because reasons. Poor Rhaenyra is so stressed out about potentially having to kill her own half-brother, dealing with a legion of rodents and the local plebs running out of all the meats who could rebel at any second, that she's even started seeing super spooky apparitions of her recently deaded mop-haired kid.
This isn't going to end well.
Local priest refuses to anoint her as the former queen, as he only just did a massive public crowning ceremony of her half-brother the other week, and doing another one so bloody soon might start making him and his clergy look like total mugs who simply hand out divinely bestowed crowns like popping candy.
What a fucking liberty!
Cut to a hilarious scene where Corlys unironically reveals a surprise revelation that the only other prominent black blokes in the entire kingdom are actually his super secret bastard boys.
No way!
Of course bloody way. And to avoid being seen as a far-right Nazi fascist bigot girl and thus accused of doing a naughty hate crime, she's forced to do a quick half-assed virtue signal and unironically pretend that she indeed had no frigging clue that Sir Adam and Alan were indeed his chocolatey offspring.
I did not guess, though I believe I see it now.
Right.
You sit on a throne of lies.
The Matrix superfan asks only that she formally now recognise them as bona fide official Valaryons, well given he's now got no kiddies left to succeed him. Naturally, she's a bit hesitant to bring attention to secret offspring when the realm is under such scrutiny during the transitional phases of authoritative power, and given her own mop-head kids were also super secret bastard boys, what she got spunked up her by Sir Harwin back in the day, during the period where she was totally cheating on her kind of sort of phony fakey super closeted homosexual hubby. Whew, keeping up yet? Anyway, turns out no one can find that giant fuck off wild dragon what killed poor Jace last week, nor the seemingly super competent expert rider that somehow assassinated a regal prince in broad daylight.
Something's fucky.
Later, Sirs Ulf, Hugh and Adam are formally knighted as knights along with some fancy new titles. Hugh the Hammer, Ulf the White, and Adam the Nick. Did you? Whoops. I mean...
Adam of Hull.
That's what I thought. Bitch!
Oof. Well, that certainly ain't going to be popular with her uncle/father-in-law. A cooped-up Alicent visits her captor and asks if she can go out for some walks at least, and also have her dad's dismembered body shipped out to her home village by FedEx pronto. Luckily, the new queen agrees, in return for some advice on how the bloody hell to run the gaff, but given the rat-infested place is broke as fuck, and the plebs are on the verge of starvation and possible revolt. Just tells her that she needs to bloody nut up and start making some hard choices already. Which she totally does, and soon bollocks the pretty old nobles who hoarded all the food from her starving pleb folk during her war with the Hightowers. Serves them all up fried rats and says, oh, by the way, I'm totally robbing all you mugs as we speak, and will totally socialise your wallets and redistribute your stolen goods back to the needs of the people. So stop whining on about communism and how wrong it is to have my men clean out your house whilst I serve you up vermin on false pretences, and shut up about it already.
Based AF.
Promptly gets on with redistributing the restolen loot and hands them all back out to the pleb folk, mainly to publicly virtue signal this time and thus earn back some goodwill, after being responsible herself for all their own ills by blockading the ports at one time, and so they can finally stop visiting the castle and whining about their lack of trade and grumbling bellies already.
Oh, thank God.
Cut to Lord Corlys totally chimping the fuck out after discovering that she went and knighted Sir Adam as Adam of Hull and not remotely as a bona fide Valyrian. Promptly calls her out on how he's lost everything in support of her war, and she can't even give his two chocolatey bastard boys what he abandoned to become living stereotypes after growing up with an absent father in a broken home, a simple bloody title already.
Your son Lucerys, whom I accepted as my heir, was a bastard.
Your son Jacaerys lived and died a bastard!
Cure! Didn't they chop off the noggin of the last black guy who publicly outed her kids as literal bastards?
Fact check.
That's true.
Anyway, a beleaguered Rhaenyra pays a visit to Alicent and tells her she in fact has her other long-lost kid who she hasn't seen in 5 years up in the tower as yet another prisoner. Promptly brings her up there to reunite her with her now mute and moody son. Look, she says, it's your bug-eyed mum with a face like a slapped arse who totally sent you away as soon as she plopped you out of her front hole back in the day.
Yay?
But in a shocking twist, what no one could ever see coming, turns out devious Sir Ormond has pulled off a right devious scheme and totally fobbed her off with some rando pleb who was filled to the brim with blonde hair dye.
What game does he play?
Oh come on, you know the game, love. It's the Game of Thrones, girl. The one where you either win or you die, or live long enough to see producers phone in a truly piss poor final season.
I'm not bitter, Sam. Just consumed by an gnawing hate that's eating away at my gut until I can taste the bile in my mouth.
But I mean, you gotta feel a bit sorry for this kid. Imagine being a lowborn pleb from a merchant family and suddenly coming face to face with 3 real-life dragons, a legendary royal prince, and then being threatened and fondled in the private chambers of 2 bona fide queens, and then only to get told that you're being sent off to defend a fucking war up north forever and ever. Wowzers, what a rollercoaster of a few days.
That escalated quickly.
And we end with a refugee turning up at the gates to say that devious Ormond fella has lain waste to some place called Tumbleton, and is totally taking a page out of the Hamas playbook and hiding his army within the innocent civilian population. So, unlike current day Israel, she can't just go scorched earth with the dragons and indiscriminately yeet everyone in a 50-mile radius. And oh look, yet another ep that ends with Rhaenyra staring at us with boldly determined eyes. Lame. And that's it, that's episode 3. Favourite bit? Well, Other than poor Damon clearly being a bit sad to hear of Sir Simon's passing, or given he grew quite fond of the poor portly pensioner on his haunted house side quest last season, was wondering when the Frigg Ormond apparently found an expert hairdresser in ancient Westeros during wartime to get that boy's hair so perfectly bleached like that. Lol. If only Rhaenyra thought of that with her mop head Sir Harwin bastard boys. Go! Anyway, that's a plot and that's your lot. Like, share and sub so I can finally get monetised and stop having to steal boatloads of gold from Targaryen vaults right from under their noses. Ring that bell thing to stay notified of any future videos. And I'll refuse to recognise a black man's kids with you in the next one.